I got it for Christmas. Prada. Because they proud of me.
So let's talk about Jalen Green's base, right? When Jalen Green shoots, his entire body is shifted to the left. When you see high school players that shoot with those wide bases, the wide arms, a lot of times for shooting coaches, it's hard for them to get them to really tuck that elbow. Some people are successful with it. We think Jason Tatum. He really started tucking that elbow after he got into the league. But it's easier for shooting coaches to say, all right, look, if you're going to shoot with that form, that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to shift your body so that that elbow can still line up with the basket. That's what we have here from Jalen Green. You're going to see when he shoots, look at his legs, look at where his legs are pointing at. It actually probably would have been better if I made him closer to the baseline here, but you can see his legs are barely pointing at the rim. That way, with those wide elbows, it's going to line up perfectly with the basket. So that's that's not that deep. It is a long known shooting secret, but it is something that when people are making their shots, they do overlook. So again, we'll talk about it later in the video. There's 100 different bases that you can use for Jalen Green for various different reasons. What we were looking for, number one, is we don't want insane elevation. He's not doing that anymore from high school. We don't want his legs spread super wide. That's high school Jalen Green. We've moved on from that. We're growing up. What we want is a decent dip on the standstill jump shot. We want him basically jumping. You'll notice, watch where he jumps from and watch where he lands. It's almost the same spot. There's not a lot of sway through the jump shot. He's gonna elevate and he's gonna land. It's not insanely athletic, and that's gonna help the arc of that shot as well. This for me, just for the orientation, was a no-brainer. Look at where he lands. Look at where his feet are pointing for the base. That was a no-brainer for me. All right, so when we get into Jalen Green's jump shot, the release, this is really important. Now, I had a checklist, an entire checklist of things that I wanted to accomplish with Jalen Green's shot. It's very interesting, and again, this is something that when we take a look at his release, this could change. We don't know. This is something that by March he could be shooting completely different. Same thing we saw with Jason Tatum. The number one thing, and we're gonna go through this list. There were so many different things that we were trying to accomplish with the release. I think we did as good a job as possible in terms of what 2K's system will allow us. Number one, we were trying to take a look at his form. Again, we mentioned it, we talked about the base, those elbows, both of them really spread outwards. When he shoots the ball, he has a pretty severe thumb flick where on stream someone said it best, it's like he's waving goodbye to somebody. That offhand is going to completely flatten out on the shot. One thing to keep in mind too, and this is where people, when I was checking out, you know, across the internet, what was out there, most people tried to use release amateur 1 to achieve that thumb flick. The reason that that's not a good idea is it's actually twofold. Number one, amateur 1 is a 1 motion shot. Jalen Green is still coming off of that athletic form that he had in high school. He likes to elevate and then flick. It is a 2 motion shot. It has the form, honestly, of a 1 motion shot, especially with the thumb flick, but it is still a 2 motion shot, and we have to capture that. It's just not realistic if we don't. When Jalen Green shoots, he's just got a thumb flick. He literally kind of just rolls the ball off of his offhand. So what amateur 1 does is it actually pushes his offhand forward. On our shot, you'll notice the offhand does not go forward. And let me see if I can first and foremost get a better angle so you can see that. You notice when he elevates, the offhand just twists. It doesn't go forward, it twists. So you'll notice, and the angle that you want to see is that shooting arm goes forward, the offhand just goes up. And it's reminiscent of Trae Young, but not to that extreme. We just don't want that offhand going forward too much. The form is great. The thing I love about the form is through all of the crazy different crossover combos and things of that nature that we get from Jalen Green, the form doesn't glitch. It comes through perfectly. It's very snappy. It's 2 motion. It looks a lot like Jalen Green. So I'm really happy with what we came up with the release. So again, this is going to be a full signature edit. So we're going to head into the menu and take a look at the rest of Jalen's game. All right, y'all. So back in the menu now, taking a look at Jalen Green. We're going to go into his signature shots. So we've got, for the base, we went with base 112. Guys, so many options here. 112 is fantastic. We were at 101 for a while. 101 is great. I just thought he jumped to the left a little bit too much, me being nitpicky. 100 was great. Base 95 is the default. It's really good. It just doesn't give him the orientation, but one thing it does do better is he jumps up and down in the same spot more. Let's keep it going. Another base that you can use was Nate Robinson. Was really good. His legs are a little bit closer together, so that was very accurate. And another one that I liked, wasn't terrible, was Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker was really good too. So all of them are really great options. My favorites personally were 112, 101, and 95. The recommended for the shot, however, is 112. But you know, on the stream at some point, all of these were our go-tos, but I love them all. I'm gonna go with primary. Austin Rivers gives you that violent thumb flick. Really important to get the 2 motion form. I'm blended to 30 with WNBA 4. WNBA 4 can be swapped out with a bunch of stuff. Some people did amateur 1. Again, don't like amateur 1 because I just think that it smooths out the release too much. You could swap it with Cazorla or 30 or release 88. They all give better hand placement, but I thought this was the overall best combination for the signature shot. When we move over to the free throw, shout out to the boys on stream that found the footage for me finding a free throw for Jalen Green. Really, on the free throw, we were just worried about hand placement. Now for the dribble pull up, which is our pull ups. Again, this year 2K22, they took almost half maybe 75% of the pull ups out from 2K21. We go with Pro 3. The reason that we go with Pro 3 is because the pull ups now also affect your standstill step backs. So Jalen Green has a very saucy handle, gets very creative on the step backs, usually does a double step back of some sort. That's why we went with Pro 3, gives him so many opportunities off the dribble to make awesome combinations to showcase that handle. Love Pro 3 for Jalen Green for that reason alone, but it's very accurate on his pull-ups. He kind of drifts forward on the pull-up, so that's why we went with that. The spin jumper was what it was. It was hard. The footage we got for it wasn't great. I went with Nate Robinson just because it has that kind of cross. It was very saucy. Just someone on stream said it best. We said, honestly, just looks like something that he would do, so that's why we went with it. Now, for the step backs, that's where the debate stopped, kind of that double step back from Trae Young. We saw him do that a couple times in high school and in the G League, so that's why we went with it. Very accurate to what we've seen. Now, as we go to the layups, no brainer on the layup package. We're going with the Russell Westbrook package. It was basically a 1-for-1 for some of the layups that we'd seen Jalen Green do. Picks the ball up very early. Now, for the dunk packages, go-to dunk package is going to be Vince Carter. Reason being is it actually has the accurate one-handed kind of Statue of Liberty 360 we see Jalen do all the time. And also I love the one-handed dunks. They're athletic. They really match kind of just the crazy explosiveness. One of the most insane in-game high school dunkers we've seen. Question is, will that translate to the league? We don't know, but I just said let's have fun with the dunk packages. We go with the cockback tomahawks as well. Really replicates his one-handed dunks as very well off of one. Now here's where I gotta apologize to my console players, but for PC we can add some dunk packages that y'all don't have access to. So we've got the between the legs 360. So I do add both of these here. Jalen has done the 360 between the legs dunk in game, so I gave it to him. I know it's a little over the top, but I gave it to him. We got the front windmills. We've got the fist pump rim pulls. We spent about an hour on stream going through all of these, adding all of these awesome dunks. So, we just wanted to make sure we were able to replicate that. I did see him do a two-handed windmill. I just couldn't find that clip, but that's okay. Going forward, I did not touch Jalen's post game. Could not find any footage of him doing any post moves, so left that default. Now for the handle is really where it's a little tricky. For the signature size up, I switched this to Nash. For the signature combo, I actually went with Luka Doncic. Now the default is Tim Hardaway. It's extremely explosive, extremely creative, but I just saw him doing stuff like this a lot more, so I went with Luka Doncic, and it's so easy to do some awesome combo chains out of the Luka Doncic size up. It's so easy to set everything up, so that's why I went with it. I always say that the handles are basically personal preference, but I really like Luka Doncic for that. So guys, that is Jalen Green. That is going to be it. And again, the rookies, they can be tricky. They are still working on their game, still working on their shots, so they're bound to change. We'll follow up with any changes that may occur. But other than that, stay tuned, guys. Next up, we do have Cade Cunningham. We already got started on that on stream, so that one shouldn't take too long to drop. I want to say thank you so much for all of the support on the channel. The sliders are in the making, guys. They will be great, but they're going to take time, so bear with me. I'm going to try and get you guys something out to play with so that we can enjoy the game, but you got to bear with me for a while I work on them to make them really quality. Be sure to follow me on all of my social networks. I'm almost to 1,000 followers on Twitter. Help the boy out. But yes, this is your boy Shady Mike Gaming. I am signing out. Peace. Threes.